Hello, my dear friends. All of us looking for the perfection in dance, and during our long trip, exercise, training, and do a lot of things to understand and to study dancing, we forget sometimes our bodies or part of our bodies, which are very important for our dancing. In this video, I will explain to you much more about our bodies and or every part of our bodies that we are using in dancing. In addition, that it will be a surprise at the end or in the end of this video. As I told you, all of us looking for the perfection in dance, but what about the creativity which can take us to another high level? Of course, perfect and creativity, both of them are together, but creativity can take us much more in a high level. I still remember a friends of us were German friends, dancers. They were perfect in dancing. I asked the audience about them. They said to me that they became boring. Why? Because they are perfect. This is the problem exactly. Eyes needs all the time to see a little bit mistake. For this reason, the eyes can look all the time for the mistakes. If I didn't see a mistake, everything will be perfect, will be boring in the end. For this reason, we need to have a little mistake. I'm not pushing you to do a mistake during your dancing or your performance, but keep in mind that a little mistakes are better than nothing, to not be in the boring point. This is the main point of what I'm talking about. Now let us start with the bodies and start from the bottom to top. Legs, which they are very important in dancing, of course, and out of dancing too. Legs can show us the path where I go, front, back, both sides, and sometimes it's also jumping in dancing if I need to jump or something like this. This is the most important step or movement for the legs. But knees, yes, also are very important. Without knee, I can't do a perfect shimmy, as we say, because if I go to the front and back, I move with the knee, one front, one back, one front, one back, can give me exactly the balance and the way and the shape of shimmy. Of course, I have to be in PE a little bit to do something like this. This is very important, yes, also. So this is the most important points for the legs and the knee. But sometimes I can move also on my feet higher or flat, something like this. It depends on the choreography or the type of dance I'm doing or I'm performing on the stage. Then we go higher a little bit to the torso. Torso are very important in dancing, yes, also, especially in Africa, in many countries all over the world. But what I said now in Africa, because we are using the torso to show you exactly the shape of shimmy, what we call it torso-driven dancing. This is very important for us. We are using this torso steps either front and back or up and down. Depends on the shape of the step or the choreography and also the type of dancing. And sometimes I use it from back to one side, using from back to up, then front, then the other side, and vice versa, and so on and so on. Depends also to the different type of dances. I can do all of these steps or this way of shape steps with the legs, either to the front or back, both sides. Depends on the choreography. So this is the torso what I use on. Then I go higher a little bit. I found exactly chest, which is very important in dancing also. Chest or play with chest or shaking chest. It is type of dance coming from Levant area, as I explained to you before. And this type of dancing or this type of dance steps belongs also to belly dancing with torso. We are using both of them by shaking one part of them or both of them to do all of these wonderful types of dancing. In Egypt, by the way, chest is very important, not only for dancing but for life. We say that Chest, it means life, it means women, it means earth, it means a lot of things. In Egypt long ago, girls, when they were going to their schools, they hanging their books up in the front of their chest, like to protect their chest from any bad things or something like that. Also, some statues from the old ancient Egyptian time, you can see a statue for women doing something like this or something like that, which it means exactly they keep it safe, they keep their chest in safe, or carry their chest higher a little bit, because this is the life. So this chest is very important in Egypt since long time, and we have to keep it, or to keep them in safe. Without them there were no life. We were thinking like that since long time. But in Levant area, completely different. In Levant area, they are dancing with chest, so they push chests in the front of them to make shimmy or something like that, shaking, something like this, which is completely different thinking, different minds. But we used both of them, I mean waist shaking, chest shaking, through our belly dancing, just to say something about this type of dance. So this is the chest, which is very important, yes, also in Egypt, all over the world, and during our dancing. Now our hands, our arms are very important, yes, also in dancing. Our arms and hands looks like brackets around our body. Sometimes we are using our hands to shoot something or to give an order or something like that, and are very important. Sometimes, yes, also when I'm dancing, I do something like this. I shoot some part of my body just to tell you as an audience, look at this part, or do this, or don't do that, or welcome, or come back, or go away, far away, something like this. So I'm using my hands to give you orders or to explain something during my dancing, while I'm dancing. So arms are very important, hands are very important, fingers also very important. But I will not push you inside all of these parts. There are some parts in the body have some details. I can tell you much more about them, but it takes much more time and maybe needs more to explain to you how I use them through our dancing. Anyway, we are preparing a class for dance steps, belly dance steps and oriental dance steps, which we will explain much more about it, my wife and I, to explain you much more about all these parts, body parts, and how we can use them through or while our dancing. And it will be very soon. I will tell you, or I will inform you about the date and time of it. If this is wonderful for you, please also write your comment and tell us what you thinking of this type of class, and what type of dance steps you want to study much more about them. Also, if this is the first time you watch this video, or this is the first time watching my channel, please make sure you click to subscribe button below and hit the bell to receive my next video. So our hands and arms are very important while we're going to dance as well, and of course we are using them most of the time, or we using them most of the time as brackets for our bodies. Sometimes I put my hands or my arms to the both sides, my hands like that, and my arms to both sides as a bracket, as I told you, and I do my movements in the choreography, or to explain much more the story, to help me explain more points inside the story, what I am telling you, using my body. So this is the hands. What about the shoulder? Most of the time I use the shoulder either with shaking or going up and down, depends on also the type or the shape of a dance step or the type of dancing. A lot of dances we are using our chests up and down, or back and front, back and front, or both up and down, something like that, depends on what I want to say or what I want to explain through the story, what I say. Then my head. head is very important. Sometimes people or dancers didn't give attention to their heads and they are dancing looks like statues like that, and all the time when they move like this or like that, and the statue all the time looking straight forward. You have to move your head without your body, using your head without your body. I can do something like this and I can look at the sides, any side of the sides, or up or down, depends on also the story what I want to explain. So the head is very important to give life to the dance step, which is very important, as I told you. Some people use the head, or maybe they are shy or something like that all the time, or most of the time they're looking down, which is not good, not correct. So you have to look to the audience most of the time or all the time, and if you wanted to say something through your dance steps, you can say it by your face. That means exactly your face can explain your feeling. Why? Because of the eyes, the lipstick or the mouth. So this is very important use also. I will not explain to you how you can use your eyes or like this or like that, or your mouth, your smile and something like this, but maybe later during this class I will explain you much more. We will explain you much more about them, how you can use them. They are very important to explain your feeling, of course. So this is the face, and this is very important. Even sometimes I can give you my back, but you feel that I'm laughing or I'm smiling. How you understand this? By little bit, when I give you a part of my body, my head, you will see or you will feel. And sometimes if I do same as some type of dances, when I use my head like this, it has a meaning. The last part, which is very important for all of us and became much more famous now all over the world, the hair. This is the most important point now I love to tell you about, and I love to share the meaning with you too. Many dancers, European dancers, Russian dancers, and also Egyptian dancers started to use the hair while they're dancing. Make a circles or push the hair to the back or something like this, sometimes to the front and back, something like that. Every shape of these movements have a special meaning, but I will give you the main meaning, of course, which all of you or most of you, maybe this is the first time you will hear it. This way of making this type of circle or half circle, using the head like this or the hair like that, or make this movement, has its own meaning coming from the Gulf area. Since long time, the women in the Gulf area, they were using this as a signal for their men when they are far in the desert and they cannot shout them to tell them help them. Sometimes tribes attack their tribe, which all their men away or far from their women, they attacking them. So for this reason, women give this signal to their men who they are very far. That means exactly there is something had happened or something happened now. Come immediately, very quickly to help us by this way or this way, like that. So this is very important to understand why the Gulf dancers doing something like this, or the Gulf people in their habits doing something like that. For this reason, all the time I tell you, you have to understand the meaning behind the step, which in the end can help you to do the correct step in a correct place. So now I see a lot of dancers using this way of dancing or play with their hairs like this without knowing exactly the meaning of it or the meaning behind. So they doing in a correct way, yes, okay, but in a wrong place. So I have to use every step in its correct place, correct area. This is also I will explain to you, we will explain to you during our class next, I think it will be in the end of this month or the beginning of next month. We will give you a lot of information about the steps and about the meaning behind the steps and how you can use the steps from the beginning until to be professional. And we will explain much more about how you can collect the steps. And there are last point, very important point, the kinetic joints, which they are very important. How you can connect the sentence between or the sentence together during your dancing in your choreography. We will explain you much more about it, but in this class. This was my video for today, which I hope you like it and you find it useful for you. Please share it with your friends, and if you have any comment or any question, write it down to me or send them to me. Thank you very much and see you very soon in the next video.